Okay, this should look familiar, a unit circle you've been working with. We're going to go a step further and extend past 2 pi. So we've done this before, but we've got pi, 2 pi. And if I can keep going around as many times as I want, this could be 2.5 pi, 3 pi, 3.5 pi, 4.5 pi. Basically, we're going to dwindle it down by subtracting 2 pi until we get to their standard angle, and then it's going to be the same from there on out. Okay, so let's think about where negative 9 pi over 3 is. If I divide this up into thirds, I know I've got to go down, so this could be 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3, 9/3. It's going to land right here. Okay, so here's my angle coming out, and I think I went around, let's see, I went around this because that would be 6, 7, 8, 9. So here's how I got to negative 9 pi over 3. Alright, now we need the cosine. Well, this one is a little bit different because it does land on an axis. But what's that point going to be if I'm in the unit circle? Okay, my x distance of negative 1, my y distance of 0. Always a distance of 1 if you're away from the axis. Okay, cosine of any angle had to do with which coordinate point? It had to do with the x coordinate. So when I find cosine of negative 9 pi over 3, I'm looking at my x coordinate, which is negative 1. Okay, now let's find 13 pi over 6. If I'm thinking in sixth, and I start here at 0, well, here's pi, so this would be 6 pi over 6, right? That would be pi, and over here would be, again, 12 pi over 6. And I need to go a sixth more than that. So I'm going to land right in here. What we need to figure out is what's my leftover area right here from the x-axis. Well, if I've got to go from 12 pi over 6 to 13 pi over 6, I've left room for just pi over 6. So now you're looking at your special right triangle, pi over 6 down here. This would be pi over 3. Here's my right angle. Let's see, long side would be radical 3 over 2. Short side would be 1/2, hypotenuse of 1. Now, figuring out the sign of that. Sine stands for opposite over hypotenuse. So the sine of 13 pi over 6 would be opposite over hypotenuse, which comes out to be just 1/2. Okay, now you try to find negative 11 pi over 2 and evaluate the cosine of that angle. Okay, so I know it's negative. I'm going to go clockwise. If I think of it in halves, here is 1/2 pi, 2/2 pi, 3/2 pi, 4/2, 5/2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So my angle ends up being right here. I'm going to put a point there. The coordinate point to go with that should be 0, 1. If I'm talking about cosine of an angle, I'm talking about the x-coordinate. So the cosine of negative 11 pi over 2 is equal to 0.